Welcome. I'm Rick Stevens, and it's my honor to be president of the congregation this year. Thank you for joining us in what was mentioned last night. In our 167-year history is a first. It's our first joint installation. Tonight we're celebrating the installation of Rabbi Cattapan and Cantor Charles. For those of you who are planning future temple trivia night questions, Rabbi Cattapan is our 20th rabbi, and Cantor Charles is our second ordained cantor. We're celebrating new beginnings, and by waiting 8 months to hold this installation, didn't want to rush into it, we can celebrate more. We're also able to celebrate changes that are bringing new life to our congregation, new and developing friendships, and one of my favorites, no more construction dust. And most importantly, the joy that our new clergy has brought to our congregation. We're happy that Rabbi Wasserman, Cantor Osborne, and Rabbi Lewis will be part of tonight's service. We also want to welcome Rabbi Bush, Rabbi Campanez, their families, Chris's family from Ohio, and out-of-town friends. Thank you for joining us for this meaningful weekend. We get to come and enjoy the evening, but lots of preparation took place to make this weekend a celebration. Todah Rabbah to Amy and Edie Landman and Alan Fishman, who facilitated the planning, to all who volunteered in this preparation, to all who are participating in this weekend's activity, and to those who helped sponsor the events. And I'm also supposed to announce, Edie wouldn't let me go without this, but after the service tonight, if we would allow all the clergy to go into the social hall first, that would be appreciated. Tradition tells us that at congregational events, clergy talk about Torah and presidents talk about money. If you're wondering how you can honor Rabbi and Cantor, please consider gifts to the Rabbi's discretionary fund and the Cantor's discretionary fund. Rabbi and Cantor use these funds to quietly help congregants who may need a little extra assistance. They also support some special projects that may not otherwise be funded, and in a myriad of other ways that improve congregational life for all of us. Also, if you like our clergy and want to keep them here for the long haul, we encourage you to support the Rabbinic Chair Endowment and the Cantorial Chair Endowment, which help underwrite their positions. As I conclude, the question of the moment is whether I should be wishing you Shabbat Shalom or Shavua Tov. I could send you outside to look for 3 stars that tell us that Shabbat has ended, but it's March in Michigan, and you could be there until April. Alternatively, you could pull out your phones and check your Hebrew calendar app, and while you have out your phones, please silence them during our service. As our clergy like to remind us, we don't always remember the messages of the sermon, but we always remember this message. If you've turned them off, please check them again. Shavua Tov. Thank you.
In just a few moments, there will be no doubt that we will say Shavua Tov. On our program on page number 2, we invite you to join us in the blessings for the Havdalah.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la.
My mistake. We had invited by email all the members of the search committees that brought us here. So please come forward.
You know who you are.
And if you are a member of our search committees and you're joining us online, hello. I know many of you were traveling and couldn't be here. So there were a lot of you. How many in each committee? How many in your committee? 11. And in your committee? 6.
6.
So they're representatives of all of them. So,
Now
shall we?
Now that we have rudely interrupted ourselves, shall we, Phil? Thank you. Yai lai la 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 lai lai yai lai la 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 lai lai yai la la lai 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 yai la lai lai la la lai yai lai la 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 lai lai yai lai la 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 lai lai yai la la lai 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 yai la lai lai la la lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen Yai lai la 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 lai lai Yai lai la 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 lai lai Yai la la lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim borei minei v'samim Yai lai la 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 lai lai Yai lai la 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 lai lai Yai lai la lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei me'orei ha'esh borei me'orei ha'esh Yai lai la 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 lai lai Yai lai la 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 lai lai Yai la la lai 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 Yai la lai lai Yai la lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamavdil bein kodesh lechol Hamavdil bein kodesh lechol Eliyahu hanavi Eliyahu hatishbi Eliyahu 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 agiladi Bimera ve'yameinu Yavo eleinu Mashiach ben David Mashiach ben David Eliyahu hanavi Eliyahu hatishbi Eliyahu 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 hagilati
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
can see the pianist, but he wouldn't be able to see you otherwise, yeah. In preparing for this evening's ceremony, thank you. In preparing for this evening's ceremony, I consulted with Rabbi Wasserman here, and she suggested perhaps the tune Achal Sha'alti and or the Ashrei. And so I wrote something that actually includes both texts, and the translation is included in the music. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and don't worry about what it means because the translation's in the movie. Yeah.
Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai otam avakesh shiveti bevet Adonai kol yemei chayai achazot b'noam Adonai Ashrei yoshvei beitecha od yahalelu chasela Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo Ashrei ha'am she'Adonai One thing I've asked of the Eternal, this alone will I seek, that I may dwell in God's house all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of our God and frequent God's dwelling place. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praise forevermore. Happy the people blessed this way, the people whose God is the Eternal One. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai otam avakesh shivti bevet Adonai kol yemei chayai lachazot b'noam Adonai ulvaker b'checha lo.
One thing I ask of the Eternal, to frequent the dwelling place of our God. Happy are the people who dwell in God's house. The psalmist's words of yearning and of joy in Cantor Osborne's gorgeous original composition invite us in to the sacredness of this celebratory moment. We are here to celebrate a new chapter in Temple Emanuel's life as you welcome and install two new leaders, Rabbi Cattapan and Cantor Lawrence. Truly, the language of installation does not quite capture the holiness of the occasion, calling to mind perhaps the connection of a new kitchen appliance, rather than the brilliance and learning and humanity of these two great spiritual leaders. But perhaps there is some wisdom in it, because there is a long tradition of calling Jewish clergy klei kodesh, tools or vessels of holiness. The Torah portion we read this past Shabbat was about the building of the tabernacle and its furnishings. The new Torah portion for this week that has just begun, Titzaveh, continues on that theme. Like the ark and altar and menorah, sacred appliances of ancient times, the people who built the tabernacle and served within it were vessels of holiness too. Cantor Osborne and I will share brief words of Torah and tributes to your new klei kodesh, and then we will invite the whole congregation to join in blessings of installation.
Cantor Lawrence, I'm going to ask you to come up here and join me. I figure you should be just as uncomfortable standing in front of everybody as I am. So.
You know me so well.
You know me so well. That's the tragedy of it, yes. It is a wonderful thing that you and Javier are being installed this evening into new positions, because what I want to speak about are not new positions, but new juxtapositions. And this particularly your juxtaposition with each other here. But words of Torah, I want to begin by reading a charge that occurs in the book of Exodus. This is a passage, chapter 36, verse 1. Ve'asa B'Tzalel ve'Oholiav ve'chol ish chamlev asher... You know it already.
Yeah, I know the verse.
Well, there's no point in reading it then. I'll start again. Ve'asa B'Tzalel ve'Oholiav ve'chol ish chamlev asher natan Adonai chochma utnuva v'hema לדעת לעשות את כל מלאכת עבודת הקודש בכל אשר ציווה אדוני. Then let Betzalel and Oholiav and all the skilled person whom the Eternal has endowed with skill and ability to perform expertly all the tasks connected with the service of the sanctuary carry out all that the Eternal has commanded. Now, I'll let you in here. If you heard the phrase skill and ability to perform expertly all the tasks connected with the service of the sanctuary, you got an inkling of where this is all headed, right? So I'm just, okay. The term in the Hebrew translated as a skilled person, chacham lev, is literally translated as one who has wisdom of the heart. In the scriptural context, it refers specifically to someone who is skilled in creating the physical elements of the Israelite worship experience. The tabernacle, the priestly vestments, the bowls, the tables, ladles, and so forth. This term is an interesting juxtaposition. Chacham, wisdom, the quality of possessing knowledge and good judgment gained through experience. Primarily, and for the sake of this talk, qualities of the mind, and leiv, the heart, mankind's universal image for the basic and fundamental quality of emotion. In your biography on the Temple Emanuel website, you reference an interview with your professors at Hebrew College where you talk about, quote, tension that exists in our liturgy between keva, that which is fixed or set, and kavanah, intention, end quote. The quality that we bring to a set words of prayer to set them in motion. I actually like the word set and set. Yeah, thank you. And give them meaning in our lives. Attention, yet both elements together are what breathe life into the words of our prayer, giving them their dynamic power. One does not exist without the other. Amen. As in the liturgy, so too in our own lives. You can see a modern-day parallel to Chacham Lev in a person possessing an IQ, an intelligence quotient or intellectual quotient, and an EQ, an emotional quotient. Both a high IQ and a high EQ are desirable qualities, and especially in the cantorate, both on the creative and interpersonal levels. Your online, have you read the website yet? If you haven't read his biography on the website, you really ought to. So, I keep referencing it, but it's really good. Your online biography explains how you work in another juxtaposition, striving to compose music based on our people's long and rich musical tradition, but blended with contemporary styles. This music, the music of the synagogue, is not an end in itself. It is a tool, much like the tools wielded by the ancient craftsmen Bezalel and Oholiav, and meant to work in an artistic medium harder, more adamant, and more unyielding than any they worked in: human nature. As Moses discovered with the sin of the golden calf, putting up buildings and creating garments are simple compared to winning and guiding the minds and hearts of people. So much so that we recite a special prayer about it on Kol Nidre night. As clay in the hands of the potter, to be thickened and thinned as he wishes, are we in your hand. Preserve us with your love, la brit habet ve'al tefen la yetzer, your covenant recall, and not our imperfection. As chazanim, our tools are the gentle teaching of children, the guiding of our adults in training through the rite of passage of bar and bat mitzvah, visiting the sick, the shut-in, and the bereaved, and the inspiration of our song delivered with the full engagement of our hearts and minds, the keva and kavanah of our being. There is one other juxtaposition I would like to bring to your attention, something I have taught 3 generations of cantors. The Jewish people have a written tradition, the Torah, and an oral tradition, the Mishnah. Similarly, as a cantor, you have a written contract with your congregation and an unwritten one. And Rick, I'm sure you're going to want to lean in and listen to this a little more carefully. Okay. Your unwritten contract reads, "You shall enrich the congregation in ways they cannot imagine for themselves." My experience is that when something comes up that you feel would be worth your while to do or participate in, chances are your congregation will feel the same way. Just bring them along for the ride. And what might such an opportunity be? Well, that's where that Chacham Lev thing comes in handy. Be a disciple of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace. Love your beautiful family and allow them to love you back. Laugh often. Get plenty of sleep. That's important for a singer.
We have a second child coming.
Get plenty of sleep in 3 years or so.
Okay.
Take up a hobby or 2, diet and exercise. If you need assistance, you have hundreds of colleagues to reach out to online or by the telephone or Zoom, and you have my phone number.
Yes, I do.
And never forget that if you ever need a rabbi, you have a rabbi and a really good one. And now it is my honor and joy to install you as the cantor of Temple Emanuel, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hey, Charles. Okay, thank you.
Javier. This Torah portion, Titzaveh, describes the sacred vestments that the artisans prepared for Aaron, the high priest. They were very elaborate, fancy, sparkly, but two items in particular stand out as having special significance. First, there were shoulder pieces at the top of Aaron's ephod. Upon each shoulder, there was a large lapis stone, and each stone was engraved with the names of 6 tribes of Israel, so that Aaron carried half the people on one shoulder and the other half of the people on the other. And then the second symbol I want to speak of was the breastplate that was mounted with 12 different precious stones, carnelian and emerald and sapphire and amethyst, and too many to list right now. But each individual stone was engraved with the name of a different tribe, and these stones rested on Aaron's heart. The shoulder pieces and breastplate evoke 2 distinct aspects of religious leadership of the rabbinate. The shoulder pieces speak of responsibility, the obligations that rabbis shoulder in carrying the needs and demands of the people, and leadership can be a heavy burden. The breastplate, resting upon the heart, captures another aspect of leadership, the love and joy that comes with serving those you care about. Leadership is also an act of devotion, a gift of the heart. Encountering these 2 aspects of spiritual leadership, I think of you, Rabbi Javier. It has been over 30 years since we met, and what I marveled about when I met you is still true today. You carry your responsibilities with such grace and ease that even as you take on big challenges and weighty obligations, there remains a lightness about you. No load seems too heavy or burdensome. You take everything on with a smile and lightheartedness. I'm not sure how you do this, but I'm going to share a couple of theories with your congregation, and I'll let you listen in. So, theory number 1. Things really are easier for him than for other rabbis because he is brilliant. All of our classmates in rabbinical school knew this. We knew that Javier was something special. Now, when I met him, I was struggling to get used to life in Cincinnati, having come all the way from New York. But Javier had already lived on 2 separate continents, and he embraced every new experience on his 3rd with gusto, a citizen of the world. So much time in rabbinical school is dedicated to wringing meaning out of ancient, difficult texts, and many of us struggled. But Javier came to rabbinical school as a Hebrew scholar and fluent in so many other languages as well, ancient and modern. When others struggled, he sang, literally. Whenever he read Torah, a stillness would descend upon the chapel, and it was like a wind blowing in from Sinai. He came from a different place, and he opened us to new worlds. Theory number 1 is that the rabbinate does not weigh heavily on him because his many gifts mean that it is just not so hard. Theory number 2. Rabbi Cattapan is brilliant, yes, but that does not mean there is anything easy about his rabbinate. He works very hard. He exerts energy and time and care and feels the full weight of his sacred responsibilities for his community. The lightness about him, the ease with which he seems to bear it all, is a measure of how fully and deeply he inhabits this vocation. The sacred duties he fulfills look easy when he does them because they are suffused with joy and the sure knowledge that he was made for rabbinic work. Theory number 2 is that everything that Rabbi Javier does flows from his heart, that love and delight buoy him just as he lifts up those around him. Easy with laughter, generous of spirit, always up for adventure, Rabbi Cattapan is a person of ethical seriousness, a spiritual guide, a scholar, teacher, and compassionate pastor. His charm is what wisdom and compassion look like when they shine upon you. What a blessing for this congregation that it is your names he carries on his shoulders, that it is your names inscribed upon his heart. Javier, I hereby install you as the Rabbi of Temple Emanuel. And now we're going to invite everybody to please rise as we take the Torah scrolls from the Ark and join together in some words of blessing in the presence of the Torah. Okay, I'm going to beg your forbearance. We're going to do a little responsive reading so that we can all join together in offering a blessing for this occasion. Mi sheberach avotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and sustain Rabbi Cattapan and Cantor Lawrence, together with all the leaders and members of this sacred congregation.
May you be blessed with wisdom and with joy.
May you be blessed with compassion and with courage.
May you be blessed with insight and inspiration.
When Joshua assumed leadership of the people, God charged him with these words: "Let not this book of Torah cease from your lips, but recite it day and night, so that you may observe faithfully all that is written on it. Then you will succeed on your path. I charge you, be strong and resolute. Proceed with courage and confidence, for Adonai your God is with you wherever you go."
May God's presence sustain you in the sacred work of leading this congregation.
Adonai, our God, make the words of the Torah sweet for us, and may we make them sweet in the mouths of your people Israel. May we and all the people of this congregation, together with the whole house of Israel, revere you
embrace and study your Torah with devotion.
Baruch
Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
May the Eternal bless and protect you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the Eternal countenance you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha
May the Lord favor you and grant you peace.
I want to take this opportunity first to thank our guests for making this weekend special, our sponsors who have made it special and have lifted time and place to something holy and holier than. I want to thank Javier and Rick for being here so that we may celebrate you and that you may continue to lift us. There were 4 words that I heard over and over again this weekend, and I want to share them and unite them with you. First is Javier. Now, it's a name,
but Javier means a new house. If you look for the meaning of the name, it means a new house. Javier, you have come in to our new house, and Javier, you are renewing and will continue to renew us in our new house. Rick means powerful leader. Your power in music, your power in education, your power in empathy and cantorial leadership throughout our community, not just the Jewish community, is an example of your strength, your humanity. And over again, we have heard the word Mishkan, the building, the sanctuary, the time in which God says to the Hebrew people, "Build me a place that I may dwell among you." And as somewhat of a cynic after 50-some years in the rabbinate, I want to say to God, if you could part the sea and create the world, build the house. And God says back, it's better if we do it together. Then it's your house, and it's my house, and it's our house. And the fourth word was Emmanuel. God is with us. God is with us because at each moment that we encounter you, Javier, and each moment that we encounter you, Rick, we are reminded of the holiness of life and of the sanctity of life and of the potential to change the concept of Havdalah from the holy and the profane to the holy and the not yet holy. And again, that each is asked in the Torah portion and through 70 times within the New Testament and within the Hebrew Bible, 71 times each to give, each to do according to his or her abilities. This is the beginning. You are the builders. We are the builders. We build upon the past, but the present is so wonderful, and the future is so rich. Build with Javier. Build with Rick. And you will be eternally blessed. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Oh, we're leaving you out. Okay.